Hello, my fellow travelers. Chris here from C's Custom Getaways, and today I'm taking us back to Europe to talk about what to do in the capital of the Netherlands, none other than Amsterdam. Amsterdam is one of the greatest cities in the world. It has over 165 canals, over 1,200 bridges, and is built completely on stilts. The beauty alone is enough to enjoy your time, but there are also so many things to do. To name a few, you have a ton of museums you can visit, including over 800 years of Dutch history and the Reich Museum and the world-famous Van Gogh Museum. You have the Anne Frank House, the Amsterdam Lookout 360 Skydeck, which is also home to the highest wing in Europe. You have over 100 kilometers of canals to take a boat tour on, the famous coffee shops, and the unique red light district. All of these are 100% worth checking out, but here are some of my favorite things to do. For the most part, I simply love just walking around the city, getting lost in between the charming canals, and trying out all the premium coffee and beers at the hundreds of cafes and patios. I really enjoyed walking through the 9 straatjes, aka the 9 streets, and the Jordan area. You'd also want to consider renting a bike and cycling around the city to really get the Dutch experience. If you want a great market to visit, make sure you hit up the Albert Koop Market. This market has a ton of great treats, including some of Amsterdam's delicious fried cod, but the highlight for me was my very first stroopwafel. This was my first time ever eating a freshly made stroopwafel, and let me tell you, I still think about it to this day. If you go to Amsterdam, you absolutely have to try one. One of my favorite areas to hang out was at Dam Square. This square is in the center of Amsterdam and the home of the Royal Palace. It was just so lively. You can simply grab a drink or something to eat at one of the many patios and just take in all the views. I went to the Majestic restaurant a few times, as it has a huge patio, great views, and some delicious Dutch bitterballen. Make sure you try some of these if you go. Another cool place to check out in the city is none other than the Heineken Brewery. Here, I'd recommend taking a tour to see exactly where this world-famous beer all started. And of course, enjoy a pint or two. There's also so much to see just outside of the city, including the largest stadium in the Netherlands and home to the AFC Ajax football club, the Johan Cruyff Arena. Here, you can watch and cheer on the local football club, or, if you time it right, take in a concert. I was lucky enough and planned my Amsterdam trip around my favorite band Metallica, and got to see them twice during my trip. The concerts were amazing, and make sure you go nice and early, as the stadium is surrounded by all sorts of restaurants, patios, and food stands, all which were Metallica themed that particular week, to really set the mood. It was such a great time. Another amazing attraction, just 30 kilometers outside of central Amsterdam, and one of the highlights of my trip, was visiting the grand medieval-style palace and largest castle of the Netherlands, the Castle de Haar. I bought my ticket in advance and enjoyed every moment of my self-guided tour. It was something out of a fairy tale, with drawbridges, towers, moats, and ramparts. Walking through it blew my mind on so many levels, with the extremely detailed wooden carved furniture, the Gothic chandeliers, the ancient armor and weapons, and just the overall grandness of the halls. And on the outside, let me tell you, it was possibly even better. The castle is surrounded by majestically lush gardens, a forest of trees, and a ton of ponds. It really was something out of a movie and a high recommendation of mine. And lastly, if you really want to spice up your trip to Amsterdam and see the city turn into a sea of orange, visit this great city in late April during King's Day. I was lucky enough to attend and was shocked at the amount of people that show up for the celebration. The canals were packed with decorated boats and thousands of people. The streets were filled with vendors and DJs, and the party went all night long. Definitely a great event to plan your trip around. Amsterdam was filled with all sorts of entertainment, and visually, it was simply stunning. I'm so grateful to have had the privilege of visiting. I really hope to see it again one day. I hope you got some tips, get to plan your trip soon, and enjoy the Venice of the North. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for my next wild adventure.